Howdy. So we're going to talk about fixing an ugly lawn, and the first thing I'm going to do, which is kind of cool, is I'm going to show you some before and afters. Now, over the years, if you follow my channel, you'll know that I've taken on some crazy projects with like neighbors' yards, the beach house. We took crappy lawns and we turned them into beautiful lawns just in a few months. I thought it'd be kind of fun though to go back in time, show you the farm property, probably the most challenging projects of my life. Let me show you a before and after. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to grab some old footage of what things look like before, and then I'm going to go recreate that shot, what it looks like now. This should be fun, so hold on. So shot number one, I'm going to put up what it looks like now, the new house, the new lawn, the new pond area. Now keep in mind what you're looking at here. And let me show you the before. What's that? Renovate. Built in the late 1980s. So we're not talking about a historical house. We're not talking about really good construction. So I would say there's a 95% chance we're going to tear that down, and we've found a house plan that we like. But here's the money shot right here. This is it. Now this is a huge 3.2 acre lake. You can see the dock down there. Matter of fact, I'll walk down there real quick with you and show it to you. And again, here's the after. Isn't that crazy? That is just absolutely crazy. Let me go recreate another shot for you. Okay, in this next video, I came driving up here in the UTV and I was showing you this back area, and then I panned the camera sort of over this way. Septic and leach field put in, and this is where we're going to put in a little bit of yard. We're going to put in a fence, and we'll do some landscaping back there. Now, believe it or not, this gravel road is covered with grass already up here. You'll see it. And then I come back like this. Isn't that crazy? So yes, I've taken on some serious projects, and what I'm gonna do today is I'm gonna teach you guys literally in a couple hours how you can actually start this process and actually turn a crappy lawn into a gorgeous lawn. It's not that hard. It's just a few simple steps. Here we go. Okay, so I'm gonna walk you through step by step on this process. It's a windy day, excuse me. It's kind of tough to shoot video out here. I'll walk you through this process step by step. If you want to skip this and go, we did some crazy stuff today. We're starting to scalp this down. I have that. We had to cut this 3 times with 3 different mowers. We got all kinds of footage I'll put at the end of it, but I want to walk you guys through first the process of this. So rule number one, when you're going to fix an ugly lawn, I'm assuming your lawn's full of weeds, looks like crap, is weak. The first thing you want to do is you want to make sure you're doing this during an active growing season. You do not want to do this while your lawn is coming out of dormancy. When your lawn is weak, when it's cold out, you want to wait for it's actively growing. So a cool season lawn, ooh, windy today. Cool season lawn, you guys will be in the 70s. Warm season, Bermuda, zoysia, anything like that, wait until you're up until you start to hit those 80s. That's the push zone. That's the growing time. That's when you can do this. Number 2, you have to look at your 10-day forecast. You want 2 days of nice sunny weather. So you don't want to come out and do this right before rain. Nice sunny weather. Number 3, pick a weed killer. I'm going to keep this real simple. You can choose whatever you want. You can do some research, but I'll put a link down below. I'll link to a bunch of products that I'm talking about. I'll also link to the lawn guides. This is real important, guys. I cover all this in the lawn guides, freelawncareguide.com. I say at the beginning of every video, over 2 million people have used them. Everything is there. Calendars, product links, grubs, bugs, fungus, whatever you have, it's there. So get them and use them, freelawncareguide.com. At the top is the link to, that's the cool season. At the top, there's a link to the Bermuda and then to the zoysia. So use those, bookmark them, because we don't get your information. There's no sign up, there's no app, there's nothing. You won't get emails. They're just up. So I'm going to link to probably just like a Spectracide hose end bottle. It's real easy. Now Spectracide makes a lawn weed killer. Then they make a weed killer with crabgrass killer inside of it. And then there's other products like Bio Advanced season-long weed control. I would probably just start with the Spectracide. It's like $7 a bottle. It's real cheap. And that's just basically killing all those broadleaf weeds, which is generally the problem this time of year. When you do this application, you're going to put that out pretty strong. Now, I'm not going to tell you to over apply it because I'd be breaking federal law, but I'm going to tell you to make sure that you get a really good strong coat. Whenever I do this, I use the term smoke the weeds. Doc's not out here smoking weeds. What he's doing is he is actually putting down a strong coat of weed killer, because you want to get it out and you just want to smoke these things. The next thing you're going to do is you immediately, right after you do that, you're going to put down fertilizer. Now, what would I put down? I would probably consider putting down a pretty strong coat of PGF Complete, or a standard coat of PGF Complete. And then hopefully by the time you do this, the new DGL dark green lawn will be available, which is all fast release nitrogen. We really want to bump up the nitrogen in this process. We really want this lawn to sort of shoot up. And here's what's going to happen. Over the next 10 to 14 days, you're going to see these weeds start to brown out. You may even get a little bit of a burn back on your regular lawn. It doesn't matter. Then make sure, if you've got irrigation, start watering after about 3 or 4 days. Water, water, water. If you get rain, don't water, obviously. And what you're going to see is, like I said, within about 10 to 14 days, all those weeds will die off, the grass will come up, and all of a sudden you'll say, damn, Doc was right. I've got a nice looking lawn. I've done this so many times. My neighbor at the old house, they were renting the house. They didn't have any lawn equipment. I walked over, I talked to them and said, let me just take care of your lawn. I went over there. Now, I did a real strong weed treatment over there. I just burned the living hell out of their lawn. But I immediately came back with fertilizers and pushed the lawn and pushed the lawn. And within 3 or 4 weeks, all of a sudden, they had a real nice Bermuda lawn. So it really isn't that tough. There really isn't that special formula, but you really have to be kind of aggressive with this. Go out there and make sure you spray all those weeds. Spray that whole lawn. Don't worry about it. If your lawn looks like crap, don't worry. I mean, you've got to kill these weeds off. The next thing is put down that fertilizer. Once your grass starts to come in, then you can go ahead, after that grass starts to establish, then you can put down pre-emergent. Put down a real good coat of pre-emergent and stop future weeds. You're pretty much done by then. All of a sudden, you're going to be shocked. In about 3 to 5 weeks, you're going to say, Doc, you were right. I went out there, I just smoked all these weeds, I put down the fertilizer, I pushed it, I kept the watering process up, and boom, there goes my lawn. It's coming up. Okay, so John's down there cutting the lawns. Jeff, I planted blueberry. If you didn't see the other video, I planted blueberry bushes in the garden. So we got them all the way down. You can put the wood chips, you can actually take them up like this. Oh, okay. Just don't stack them like up here on the wood. Oh, okay. Bring them up to the dirt, but I just don't want to cover up that base right there. Oh, okay, yeah, but that's good. Apple is just starting to come out. So this peach tree is well ahead of everyone. Look, oh look, are those baby peaches? Look at that. Look at that. Man, I got baby peaches already. Dude, that's crazy. This tree, for some reason, I don't know why, is weeks ahead of all the other ones. That is just crazy. But my apple trees are all the last thing to come out. I'm always on their butts about picking up strings, like those wheat straw bale strings. Now he's got one wrapped on his mower. And that's looking good. Taking this down short because I started to see Bermuda come up here, but we've never cut it this short with a 0 turn. I don't think it's going to end well, but you don't like it because you're used to seeing nice furry fuzzy grass out here. Yeah. But the problem is this is all annual ryegrass, and it's going to be getting in lots of rain and getting into the 80s next week. And I've already started to see some sprigs of Bermuda come up. So we need to get this. There goes my wood ducks. Look at the duck. Concentrate, Doc. So we need to start taking this down. You know, if we can't cut it with a 0 turn, then we'll go back to an ego with this. But for now, what we may do, go ahead and finish cutting all of this with that, and we may get the ego, run the ego over it and bag up all these extra clip-ins, which will be a pain in the ass, but I mean, we can't leave it like this, so.
I can't even go home leaving it like this.
You can't go home leaving it like this? Because this always looks so pretty out here, man.
No, man, I was cutting out like, man.
But you gotta trust me on this. See, this is where that pain comes in. It's like when you scalp a Bermuda lawn. God, it looks so ugly when you take it down to dirt, but it's beneficial. You create that new growth. It's the same thing we do up in the fields. You see me cutting those fields all the time, but man, they're super lush. So basically, it's time. It's time for Bermuda to start next week. We're gonna start to see that come up. And like I said, this section in here, we may have to cut with the ego if we're gonna keep it short in Bermuda.
Right.
But that section over there, we'll leave it a little bit longer. Man, it's windy out here.
It is.
Fields are looking good. I'm just trying to decide if I need to cut them. What I'm trying to do is I'm trying to keep all this cereal rye down and get my clover and my turnip to come up. This cereal rye is just so aggressive. Man, there's still turnips everywhere in here. What do
always need some gas.
Why the brother always need my gas, man? Hey, can I borrow some of your gas? Did you run out?
Ran out.
He ran out of gas. Oh my God. What a rookie. Oh look, there's a mower down on my property stuck. No, it's just out of gas. On the side of the road, calling me. Hey Doc, I need some gas. So now he's starting to learn why I say I'm such a pain in the butt about picking up your orange strings when you put out wheat straw. Look at him. I think he's talking on the phone. I think he's under there talking on the phone while he's doing that. Look. Orange string. There's another one over here. That's the second time. That's the second time he's had to stop today. Cut string out. I had to do it the other day. Hate these damn orange string. Here's another one. Doc, why are you always yelling at people about picking up the orange strings? Because they will mess up a mower, man. They'll get up under there and they'll seize up a blade. So I have him running this over again. Just trying to loosen up all these big clipping piles. Sometimes you gotta double cut. It really does make such a difference when you do a double cut. When you start to get these clippings out here, I mean, these things just mat down. And they're just going to kill the grass, so. If you only knew what this looked like when we bought this place. This was a junk pile. Then we took it, we cut down all the trees, we took it down to dirt, and I raked it for 2 days with a skid steer, like I'm gonna do over there. And then I have seeded and seeded and seeded. Put down nitrogen, looks great. This is gonna end, but I'm gonna try. Ego just didn't have the horsepower to suck up these wet chunks. This is definitely making a difference here. So I'm gonna run over it for a while. So much better. Man, I always say it feels just like getting a haircut, man. It feels so great to have short hair, and it feels so great to have short grass. But now that we got this short, we got to keep cutting it short. So my goal is to sort of feed the Bermuda that's starting to come up, and we're going to keep the Bermuda about this length. It's probably about 1.5 inches, I would say, maybe 2 inches. Man, that looks good. And then we transition over to here, which is no irrigation, more of a natural area. And we're keeping this at about 3 inches. Okay, so the house is here, the shed is here, and then I have this kind of nasty area here. My stump grinder came through the other day. I had him grind out some stumps. I'm gonna get a skid steer on Friday, and I'm gonna rake this with a bucket with teeth. Rake it, rake it, rake it, and that's what we've done on all these. I'm gonna turn this into dirt. I think I'm actually gonna make a circle here. I'm gonna tear up these old bricks, make a circle here, make a flower garden. That'll look really cool. And then I'm gonna leave that gravel pad there because it's a good turnaround for trucks in a parking space. So this will now become another lawn for me to cut. We cut this really low, and John was freaking out. He was like, man, it looks horrible. We had to cut this 3 times. John cut it with the 0 turn. I had to cut it with the Ego, bag it, pick up clippings, and then I came back out with my John Deere because it's almost like a scalp that we're doing out here. I mean, we took it from like 5 inches down to like 1.5 inches out here because I can see some Bermuda coming up. Okay, so it's the next morning, and we're supposed to have rain starting probably in about 2 or 3 hours, and then later tonight we're going to have thunderstorms. But I came out here and I looked and I saw Bermuda starting to come up, and that's why we took it down. It's almost like a scalp. This is annual ryegrass, so I need to cut it short and just leave it short. Someone's going to ask if I kill it off. I don't. I want to have roots in the ground out here all the time. You cut annual ryegrass really short, it's going to eventually die in the heat, but you don't want it competing with that Bermuda. Now, I have weeds out here. Last year I did a video about goosegrass and crabgrass out here, but I'm not going to treat any of my weeds. Why? Because I'm not in my active growing zone. I'm going to wait till that Bermuda comes up. Once that Bermuda comes up and it's really strong, that's my active growing period. If I want to treat weeds, that's when I'm going to do it. I really don't like to come out here and do a heavy all weed treatment right now on an ugly lawn, so I'll just leave it. I don't mind the weeds. They're roots in the ground. Any kind of root in the ground is good with me out here. Again, this is a new lawn. Same thing over here. I've got a whole bunch of clover over there. I've got weeds. I don't care. I just want something in there to open up that soil because when you have bare ground, man, it's hard. So anyways, guys, like I said, I've done this time and time again. It's not that hard. You have to, it's scary to do this sometimes, to come out and just do a real strong weed treatment. Read your label. Make sure the weed killer that you're going to put down is tolerant of your grass, and make sure that it's not a pre-emergent, contains a pre-emergent in case you may want to seed later. You just got to be real careful. That's why I said that simple things like a hose insecticide is just good to knock it off right now. That's it. I got a bunch more videos. Hit subscribe, and I got to go before this rain comes. Doc.